The color page in DaVinci Resolve is in fact the industry standard for color correction and grading. So everything related to color happens right here. In the top left you'll find your media pool, right next to the gallery where all your saved snapshots live. Then we have the lookup tables, or LUTs for short. These are files that tell Resolve how to change the colors in your video, a bit like filters or presets. Simply put, they give your footage a particular look which you can apply with just one click by choosing the right LUT. If you have several clips on your timeline, you can show or hide them by clicking on clips. The marked clip is the one you're actively working on, which you can also preview in the monitor here. At the bottom you'll find various adjustment tools. If you're working with raw footage, you can tweak settings here. There's also color matching for consistent look. Next we have the color wheels, which are essential especially for beginners. They offer a very intuitive way to correct and grade your footage. To use them effectively, you'll want to enable scopes using this option here. If they're not visible, just click to activate them and you'll see some unusual looking graphs. These represent your image's brightness and color information. Let's start with the Waveform scope. This shows brightness values from left to right across your image. The top represents the white levels, the bottom shows the black levels, and the middle contains your midtones. To raise highlights, adjust the gain wheel. To deepen your blacks, use the lift wheel. For midtones, adjust the gamma wheel, and the offset wheel shifts the overall brightness of the entire image. You can also tweak these tonal ranges by adjusting the red, green, or blue values individually, which lets you stylize your shadows, highlights, or midtones in the respective colors. To warm up or cool down your image, use the temperature control. You can also adjust tint, saturation, and hue, so feel free to experiment until you find a look you like. The color bars beside the wheels offer similar adjustments, but with more channel-specific fine-tuning. Next you've got log wheels, which give more control over defined tonal ranges, and they are great for stylized looks. The HDR wheels go even further, offering very precise adjustments for high dynamic range footage. Then you have the RGB mixer, where you can manually adjust how each color channel influences your image. You'll also find a motion effects panel, and then we get to the curves, one of the most powerful tools here. Click the icon to switch between different curve types. You'll also find the color slice tool, useful for targeting fine-tuning like adjusting skin tones. Speaking of which, to correct skin tones, switch your scope to Vectorscope. Balanced skin tones will appear along this line here, the skin tone indicator. If you don't see it, go into settings and check this box here. By the way, this works for all skin tones. Next we've got the color warper, which lets you visually grab and move colors on a grid. Very intuitive for stylizing. To isolate and adjust specific colors, use the Qualifier. It lets you select a certain range and apply changes only to that selection without affecting the rest of your image. These were the color grading tools, and it was a lot. So here's a short summary for you to take a screenshot and save for later. Now let's move on to masks using the window tool. This lets you define a specific area of your image for adjustment. Choose a shape or draw your own and refine it in the preview window. You can also invert the mask to affect everything except the selected area. Next to that is the tracker tool, which tracks moving objects within your video. Then we have the blur tool to soften or sharpen specific areas. Other tools include resizing, transforming, and even color manipulation in 3D space. Some options may be locked in the free version, but don't worry, you won't need those to get great results. Let's take a break from theory and look at a real example. Say you want to pixelate someone's face. So select the face with the window tool, then go to effects on the top right and select Mosaic Blur. Now activate your node view. Drag and drop the effect onto this small square here. This applies the effect to the masked area. Then go to tracker and choose whether you want to track forwards, backwards, or both from the current frame. You'll now see the mask move along with the object. You can apply other effects the same way, not just to masked areas, but to entire clips as well. If you've watched the Fusion Page tutorial, you've already learned about nodes, and they work in a very similar way here in the color page. Each node represents a step in your grading process. To add a new one, right-click on the previous node, then add node. Let's stick with serial nodes for now. You can also rename or label your nodes based on what kind of adjustment you're making here. Personally, I always leave the first node untouched to keep the original image accessible. Then I apply each new effect or correction to a separate node. This keeps everything tidy and easy to manage. You could technically do everything in one node, but that can get messy fast. With multiple nodes, you can switch individual steps on or off, test things, and compare adjustments more easily without affecting the rest of your grade. Here's my usual node workflow for grading. You don't have to follow it exactly, but feel free to screenshot it and use it as a starting point. If you have several clips you want to grade similarly, you don't need to repeat the whole grading process for each one. Just grade a single clip, then select the orders in the clips preview, either individually or as a batch, and apply the grade by clicking the graded clip with your mouse wheel or by right-clicking and selecting Apply Grade. You've probably already noticed that your clips are numbered, and once the number gets a colored outline, it means that some kind of grading has been applied to that clip. In the keyframe editor over here, you can adjust the keyframes, where you can move them around, ease them, and make any other adjustments. And that covers the most important tools in the color page. Now we'll move away from the image into audio editing onto the Fairlight page.